All right, I'll call the November 21st, 2017 public planning board meeting to order. Joe, please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got thrown on the floor, sorry. We have a roll call, please.
Dennis?
Here.
Roy?
Yep.
Peter?
Here.
Bonnie?
Here.
Everyone else is absent tonight.
Okay. Having 4 members, we have a quorum. Instead of the public hearing, I'm gonna go right to Ossipee grant recovery, because I know all you people are here for that. I will make a motion that the application is not complete, number 1. Number 2, we cannot rule on it because it does not meet any of our characters that we need to go by. And I would tell these gentlemen that they have to go to the ZBA to get a special exception
Variance.
and a variance. Both.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is seconded. Discussion.
Will they require both? I think just a variance.
I have been advised that both attorneys have spoken, the town and their attorney, and that was what the gist of it came to me.
Fantastic, okay.
Any other discussion?
Public.
Well, the public,
Are you gonna second it?
Roy
seconded.
seconded.
Roy seconded.
Anyone would like to talk in the public, we will have a quick comment, but it has to go to the ZBA, so. Yes, Jim?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, since they submitted an application,
The application was not accepted.
I understand, but they have submitted it, so either, I believe procedurally, the applicant would need to withdraw it without prejudice, or you would need to deny it without prejudice because it has been submitted.
That was my motion, to deny the application. It's incomplete and it does not cover our standards that we go by.
Okay.
That was my motion, so I mean, if I'm wrong, please tell me, but
I thought that, I thought what you had said was that just that the application was incomplete, not that it was denied.
we're not denying it. We have no choice, we can't accept it,
So it's not being accepted.
correct?
Okay.
And that they have to go to the ZBA,
All right, very good.
which you're gonna have to sit down on. Yes, Joe?
Joe Deegan. I live in Center Ossipee. Yeah, just want to let you know, I spent a lot of time researching this. And it is in the town, it's under a special exception in the area that they're going into. But you know how the board was looking at it as being is what to call it? Well, according to zoning regulations, it needs to be called a group home.
Group home requires a
A
license.
a group home requires a special exception. But now you have to add a couple of scenarios to this. One, it's covered under the Fair Housing Act, which is what they were saying, and also it's covered under the ADA requirements, because addiction, unless they're currently using illicit drugs, who those people are not covered under the handicap rules, But if they're in recovery, then they need to be qualified as a handicapped person or a disabled person. So even with towns, the towns need to make a reasonable accommodation. And a lot of the special exceptions that I've seen and read about have been thrown out. There's basically, it looks like they have every right to be in anywhere almost that they want to be, or anywhere they can be. There's strong information out there where they want sober living houses in a residential area. So, just letting you know. But I think it's gonna end up,
They still have to go to ZBA.
yeah.
Yes, Nash?
Ash Fishbein, Ossipee resident, business owner in town. I think this would be a great illustration to show the importance of the town's master plan. I feel like as an Ossipee Economic Development member, we all have the opportunity to draw what our community should or want it to look like. And I think that it would be put on, or it would be of the interest of the planning board to really work on that master plan so that certain things in the future, not just saying this, but just our community in general in the future is what we want it to look like. And this is exactly why the master plan is so important.
Thank you. Yes?
Name is Carlos Clough. I live and am actually renting an apartment just down the street from the school. As a parent of a medically diagnosed, long-term disabled child by all legal definition, who goes to Ossipee General School, or Central School, knowing that there are additional legally defined children as disabled, there is a conflict of interest in regards to placing a home across the street where children such as mine, who are easily taken advantage of because of the diagnosis he has, puts undue risk both on the city and on the school and the school district. And as a district employee, felt it needful for me to be here. As a parent, I felt it even more needful to be here. I think our gentleman here that runs the meadery makes a good point about the plan for the city and what you want it to look like. I am relieved that the application was denied. My wife and I have been considering purchasing property in the area, moving from out of state. But I cannot put my child and will not put my child at risk should something like this move forward in any form. You cannot attract families, long-term contributing residents to an area when you have something that close to a central pillar of your community.
All right. Anyone else? I call for a vote. Dennis?
Yeah.
Roy? Peter? I'll vote yes. Be turned over to the ZBA. Thank you very much. Now go into a public hearing. Peter, catch him.
Who, that?
No, my brother. Standing right there.
Hey, Peter.
Peter!
Peter!
Jim's right there. You might get out.
That's locked, Joe.
The Ossipee Planning Board will have a public hearing Tuesday, November 21st at 7 o'clock, Green House, for revisions up to the site plan review regulations. We have to name all the ones we changed, right?
If they've done their homework, they've gone through it.
All right, so we don't.
So, another weekly.
Okay. Make a motion that we adopt the site plan review regulations as drafted. And will be effective as of 11/21/2017.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Peter?
No, not currently.
Dennis? No discussion, we'll have a vote. All those in favor?
What was that?
All those in favor? Motion passed. We'll now go into our regular meeting.
Make a
Public
motion,
hearing is closed.
make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Made and seconded the minutes of 11/7/2017. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Have we got anything from Westwood Shores as to their permits?
I have not officially received stuff from them.
Okay.
I have heard that septic has been approved.
Well, septic was the last one, but we haven't got a copy of any of them, so.
We at least need the approval.
What's that? On the minutes?
Well, the septic is the last one they received. They gotta have the water first. And the
Talking about Westwood
subdivision.
Shores. Don't need this. Don't need this.
Morse pit, we've got the regular statement. The unsatisfied conditions. There has been no change.
No input from the lawyer then, what he's gonna do?
What?
No input from the lawyer, what he's gonna do about it?
What?
More
More
stuff.
spit.
When I spoke to him last week, well, not, on the 8th, he had not submitted anything to the court. So, I'm waiting on his submission to the courts. Informal discussion. He's not here. James Harrington?
Nope.
Okay. Verizon, case number 17-9. Verizon H&R Block for 1995, Route 16, tax map 27, lot 24. Seeking a site plan review to renovate the old O'Keefe building and move Verizon wireless and retail store and H&R Block into this.
Okay.
Has everybody looked at the application? Because when I read it, there was stuff missing. Do you have a final plan?
Yeah. I
And
think
you had the letter from the fire chief.
the fire chief went this morning, according to my contractor, so I don't have that letter yet. He had to go and look at it today, is what I gathered. So that's probably gonna be the last piece.
So you want to get a conditional with us tonight then?
That's cool, I just wanted to bring that, I had the land surveyor do the maps. I think that was the other piece that was missing, right? And I got
the
7.
blocks?
What's that one?
You have the blocks on, the signatures?
Yes, it is, yep.
Thank you.
And there's 7 of these sizes, he said, he needed. And I got 6 of the big boys here. And they're all signed on the bottom. It's Burke Land Services, York Land Services.
Thank you. I got a problem with your abutters. You only have 4. And it's 200 feet from the boundary line.
That's all I had.
Like,
I always rerun the list and
I
it's
know,
all
but
back.
I looked at it, and it just doesn't seem right.
Do you want the big ones?
Let me see them.
I don't think the cemetery cares, but somebody else will. You can smile at that, but I'm a trustee of cemeteries too. So you can smile at that, but I'm a trustee of the cemeteries too.
Okay?
Here, Cove, North Cove. Oh, where's the list?
One of these two.
The big boy? Okay, good enough for him.
There you go.
I just can't. Okay. Here, Cove, North Cove. Anybody own that swamp the other side of the road? That's state property.
You got Brock Jr., you got Deer Cove.
Would this lot be right here? I don't see a name over here, Donnie.
I don't either.
Excuse me, sir. Who would own this lot up here? There's no name on that. Because I think they're within the 200 feet, aren't they? If you got them listed, you got her listed.
Well, I got the list from,
I ran the list,
so
I ran the list off the town's
So
system.
we don't know who owns this piece up here then?
What's the tax map number?
There's not.
There it is.
There's nothing on it.
I have
Shows
to
the
go
law.
pull it back up.
Yeah.
You owned all of it?
No, because you got a line here,
Oh,
with the boundary there. That's the only one I'm wondering about, actually. Everything else looks like you're in where you need to be.
Yeah, that,
Other than maybe this side of the road, but.
because your, David,
Yeah.
your boundary is here, right?
yeah,
To here, 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 here. So that would come within 200 feet. That's the state of New Hampshire.
State, it's state, isn't
It's state property?
Well,
it? Isn't it?
hey, it's not identified on the map. That's what we're trying to find out, Dave.
We just wanna make sure we don't
No,
mess something up, that's all.
Gonna dot the i's and cross the t's,
That's right by the road, right? Where it comes in?
Yep.
Yeah,
You're on the back.
Yeah,
You
that's
got-
right next to,
chunk of state.
no, it's right,
I'm
sorry?
It's next to Hodgson, to the right of it.
just right out,
Hodgson,
Frito-Lay. Sands
You
old
called North.
building with a carport, car is
Trying
car.
to pull a tax
Oh,
map.
yeah, all right, yeah,
The next lot up,
okay,
which is on that corner.
yeah.
You see it? I mean, that's why I was questioning it as, this island is a state.
Yep.
Right. That's what I
It's
was
not
talking
map, it's not on the map. It's a different map. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If that one is,
We just need to know who's to the right of the, Deer Cove North Corporation, facing towards it.
Yeah, it's Frito-Lay, that's an old center, right?
that's where Frito-Lay is.
This is there, yep. Oh, we just wondering about this one. That's within 200 feet.
I mean, that,
unfortunately.
I think it's woods, right? Nothing there.
No, it's not.
So how would you survive?
but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think we could pass it. And if the abutter was not notified, and it should have been legally, they can throw it out.
Or conditionally, just check who it is, let us know. Which means as long as the officer can come down and get it okay.
Okay, you want to accept the application then?
I think we can accept it, I just like to know who owns that piece of
Well,
property.
I mean, you accept the application with the following the fire chief's letter and who owns that one piece.
Okay, can I make a motion to accept the application? You wanna call it complete, except for the two,
No, it's not complete.
would be, we accept the application.
Conditionally.
Wait, what's that?
Conditionally.
We'll accept it conditionally, but we need to get the letter from the fire chief, and we need to know who owns this piece of property, whether it's state or.
Laura's gone to
I
Laura.
think she's gonna go
Everybody.
look.
She'll pull it,
I don't know
yeah.
how to look it up, but fireman letter, I'll get that once I get it, I'll get it right to you guys.
Tax map should have it.
Oh, that's a new tax map. I think that's tax map.
Yeah,
The
but
other one.
the next page over should have this piece. They do it in blocks.
Yeah, because she gave me the names. She must have.
I
Which
know
may
it
not
used
have
to
been
be,
stuff either, maybe state property.
They used to be owned by Rhines, right? That whole section used to be all Rhines.
Years ago, they owned that whole piece.
Yeah,
And they split it.
And
Stanley.
It got all cut up and the Prejos bought it. Back in
That piece
the
we're talking
70s.
about was where the trailer was, where they lived, right?
Yeah, I
Right
think
after
so.
the garage and all, it was right there in that corner.
I think so, yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of places around here changed in the last 50 years.
yeah.
That changed about 40 years ago over there.
I mean, I've looked at your building from the outside, which is all we can comment.
You've done a nice job up there.
It looks nice as
good.
it sits
That
now.
place needed a facelift and fixing up, and you did a nice job.
The other question I have, is this you know what, roadside commercial or commercial or what?
That's been commercial right along. We don't have a problem there.
Yeah,
Just
but-
don't know.
It depends on which one it is in because of, impervious.
It's only been vacant for a year. So it's been a business right along, so you shouldn't really have a problem.
We deal with it,
What's that?
It was retail to retail and then change the use.
Yep.
Oh,
It has
yeah.
to be vacant for 2 years before it
2
becomes.
years is what, you didn't used to have no time, but the board put time limit, it was never vacant. I was in favor of if over 2 years, right period, that's all. Lose the rating. They didn't see it my way, so.
I know there was no plan.
And they wanted to have business in town, you know. You take a bad economy, it might be 10 years they fill it.
Doesn't that fall under corridor?
He's looking right now. But it's been used commercially right along, so it's.
I could have went in and opened it up the way it was.
Roadside commercial.
Roadside commercial, it was all
Yeah.
set anyway.
He's all set.
It's amazing the building stood there because it's all filled.
I mean,
Put on.
Pine
Oh,
Hill,
is it? Section of working with.
starts at Pine Hill, goes to beer camp. He's just making it into beer, by the beer camp. Roadside commercial.
It's in there.
The only problem I have is that it's only supposed to be 40% coverage.
It's already existing.
But it's existing, so we can't make them change it.
Nope.
So, as soon as she comes back,
We'll get on the motion, figure what's going on.
I can just get you the fine letter, I don't have to come back to it.
Just gotta give it to her or
Just
mail
give
it
it
in.
to her, okay.
And then we'll have to sign your paper so you're permanent. Then you got 30 days from there, somebody protests.
nobody's gonna squawk.
What's that?
Nobody
Oh, nobody will
goes-
squawk out there.
Yeah.
But
I
they
think
don't-
I think it's a
I can't
good,
imagine anybody.
it's a good improvement to
Problem with
it
it.
compared to what it was like
Anything makes it
before.
look better, they're gonna be happy.
It's not even
It's not
that.
covering as much area as it did before. You've actually given more area there.
I
Opened it up.
I like where you took that
That's state of New
steel
Hampshire.
foundation now, too. I
Did you
noticed
flood
where you
that.
going?
Rain?
So. Kept an eye on that too.
This is their property. Everything in pink is 200-foot radius.
Good to go then?
Only comes up with
Alright,
them.
We'll call it good to go then.
Just need a letter then, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
So I guess
alright,
you're
you
good.
have a motion on the floor.
I reworded it a little bit, conditional on a letter from the fireman.
Peter, you want to second it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'd love to
right.
second it.
I thought he was gonna say
I
no for
was
a
gonna,
second.
I was gonna say it, but you beat me to it.
Sorry, I was on
Alright,
the,
any more discussion do we have? If none,
What do we conditionally
Fireman, the letter.
accepting the application is
accepting the application?
correct. As conditional because of,
the fire.
any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Ladies and gentlemen?
No, you're not done yet.
No? Okay. Let's put this back up.
I move that we give conditional site plan review approval, conditional on the fire chief's letter.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now you're legal.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate
As
it.
soon as we get the letter, we'll sign it.
That's great. Thank you.
December.
I'm assuming you want these, Laura?
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna. We'll have to sign one.
The little one too?
Laura, would you like the little one too?
No?
Need that, you can
I
have it.
have 3 here.
Put it in the other file.
Fire starter.
Mr. McConaughey is not here, so we don't have any pending work, do we? He didn't drop you anything off? So, accessory building, new ordinance requested by Steve, you can't do anything.
Nope,
Morse pit,
we covered that.
covered that. Zoning ordinance, read it over, read. We've already covered that. Ash, you wanna say something?
The only thing I would just continue on is what I had mentioned earlier in the master plan. You know, there.
Plans do not go through until we do the zoning ordinance.
Right, well, I understand. We've talked about that before, Connie. I think it was important for the other people to hear that, because I was here at the last meeting, there was a lot against, there were a couple for, that going in town, and that's exactly what a master plan is for. Now, they have to follow their rules with ADA and equal housing and all of those things, and I get that. But this is a great catalyst to the conversation of how important a master plan is. I've heard from several of our town bodies that say it's not worth the paper it's printed on. Well, that's because it's never been used as a tool that it's designed for. So I think once the zoning is in place, you're gonna get a lot of harping from me with the master plan, because honestly, because it falls on you guys. You're gonna take a lot of beatings here with other things that come up. And if you have a policy in place, which would be that master plan, you can follow that.
But some of them other things that may come up may have to be allowed in the master plan.
Well, that's right.
Different thing.
Absolutely. But don't discount the need for it, Roy.
I'm not discounting
Well-
the meaning, I just think it's a reference all amounts. That's just fine.
That's a shame.
From everything that I read over the last 3 or 4 days, a master plan wouldn't help in this situation.
You're missing my point.
I know what you're
missing
saying.
my point.
No, I'm not, I get your point, but there are some things that even a
The
master
master
plan.
plan is not gonna cover.
I understand that. And that's why I said ADA and all of the things that go along with that. But this is a great catalyst and a start to the conversation of the importance. I'm still talking.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The importance of having a master plan in place. Whether it's for this or other things, it doesn't matter. The one thing that Ossipee has failed to do over the years is think long-term. That master plan could help us long-term. I understand it can't help here. I'm done. Sorry, Roy. Go ahead.
I happen to agree with Ronald Reagan. Government's not the cure, it's the problem.
Peter, wake up.
I am.
Mayor, I want you to look at something, because you were on the planning board and you signed the plans.
Boy, you're in hot water now.
Isn't there a statute of limitations?
There ain't any, he's a brother.
Read that over. You were the chairman at that time, sir. Would you like to say something else, sir?
Just, I've lived a lot of places.
You stand up.
Oh.
More.
I've lived a lot of places. I'm not from around here. My family has deep roots in the state of New Hampshire. My family originally came from this area, down in the Merrimack River Valley, and then moved west as the progress of the nation moved forward. I am a person that believes in providing solutions. I heard, as I watched the video that was posted online, of this town's needs relative to some of the problems it's got. I agree that there's some long-term things that can be made plans for. I agree there's some things that will blindside the town no matter what you do. But in spite of that, there are solutions out there. It's being willing to take experience and innovation and new ideas and figure out the best way to make them work together. Because that's really, in today's life, that's really the only choice we've got. With that being said, based off of what I watched and the commentaries and stuff, the needs that were made relative to addiction recovery and stuff for not only this town, but for this county and for the state and for the other problems. I did a little digging. I happened to come across a free program. Would not cost the city a dime to refer people to. It's run nationwide. There's phone-based call-ins. People can, if they're ready, they can do it on their own time with no expense to them. There's 3 places in the region where they could go free of charge. There's local unpaid solutions to help this community if we can figure out how to tap into them. And I would be more than desirous to find stuff to help than to hinder. And I really appreciate your willingness to hear me out. Thank you.
On the planning board, to give you a little background, the planning board has to go by state laws, federal laws, and town laws. The zoning ordinances are what mandates our process. And what is going to happen down there, I don't know. It's going to be up to the ZBA to give them a variance or a special exception, whatever is called for. And as far as addiction goes, I know only well to how it affects the family. And until that person really, really wants to quit, you can talk to them till you're blue in the face. But until they decide that they're going to stop, and it is the hardest thing in the world because we all have addictions. Some of us have smoking, some of us have drinking, even food.
Yep.
Clothing. I gotta wear a certain type of clothing. So everybody's got an addiction.
Toss a stone and get a type of addiction. Doesn't seem to be that.
Make sure you go to the ZBA, get your opinion voiced there. If you have ideas of planning board,
I don't know if I could answer it, ask it to our representative over there.
You may ask him. He doesn't have to answer you.
Of course I answer.
No.
Start me talking, I'm not going to stop.
You've been down the state
Well, I'm
house too
looking
long.
up information on what we discussed earlier. It's going to the ZBA, I understand that, but as big a problem and big an issue that this has become, I didn't see a lot of rules or regulations or help coming from the state on definitions or anything. It's just kind of wide open. I mean, they couldn't even decide what they considered a halfway house to a sober house or a transitional house, or what rules or regulations. I mean, I'm reading this and I'm going, wow, I mean, this is a problem. And you said yourself you have 300 bills sometimes to go through.
It's up to 987.
I'm surprised that there aren't some bills to help this process move a little faster and help people in setting up these different locations for aid and help. I mean, I was just surprised that this state was so far behind in that, because other states that were thrown in there with the information, like California and Michigan, New Jersey and other states, have got a well-established program with definition on just what is expected and how it's run, with money to back it.
Well, you're going to find out very soon through the ZBA that the Fair Housing Act and the federal laws that govern fair housing are going to affect this. And you're going to find that they are going to be able to set it up where they are, and it's going to be very difficult to fight. I mean, the town could possibly create a lawsuit, but that's what Jersey uses the Fair Housing Act for everything. And when you're putting in housing for, anything from addiction services to disability, ADA, like they said, it goes under fair housing.
Yeah.
And if you refuse them, they can sue you because they're going to say that you're circumventing their civil rights. And even the Regional Planning Commission, if you could actually ask them also, they'll tell you that regional planning wise, they use the Fair Housing Act and those parameters to do planning. And I do have some added information. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. at the Carroll County Administration Building, the commissioners are going to be asked by White Horse Addiction Services to double the contribution that the county is giving them. It's going to be filmed, but if you want to be there live to give your opinion on if you think it should be doubled, because I believe they got the delegation authorized $75,000 to go to White Horse Addiction, and they want to double that. So that's going to be for tomorrow. The last thing I have to say about this is that the entire state and the entire nation has addiction problems everywhere by just simply saying you can't have something here or by a school or by a playground does not negate the issue that there are still people in the entire town that are passing through that school, passing by the school. And if we further demonize people who have addiction and not understand the true reasons for addiction, we're never going to solve this. If these people who got out of the what's the name of the place they're in?
Granite,
No.
was it?
Ossipee Granite Recovery.
Ossipee Granite.
Granite.
Oh, he's talking about,
The Granite Recovery.
Effingham.
That's Granite Recovery, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what
In
the
Effingham.
hill is.
In Effingham. When the addict or the person that's being treated is done there and they transition back into the communities, they're already past that point and they have no choice but to transition back in. It doesn't matter really where you put them because the alcoholics and the drug addicts are already here. That's all. That's my main point. And about state funding, you heard about Granite Hammer. Granite Hammer was a grant fund that the legislature gave. I cannot be quoted on the exact amount. I think it was about $9 million. There are people in the legislature that wanted that money, at least most of that money, to go to addiction services. No. The galley up inside the State House was filled with the state and local police and their lobbyists and the unions, and they wanted all the money to go to law enforcement. We're not going to arrest our way out of this. So even though there are people in the legislature that wanted to get more money for addiction services, it was thwarted by government agencies that need money to function. I'm not saying law enforcement is not doing their part, or I'm not demonizing police. I'm just saying that you're not going to arrest your way out of addiction. It's not going to happen.
Carroll only got 20,000 this year instead of 27 last year.
There's a new one. It's called Granite Shield. They found that Granite Hammer was kind of an abusive term, so now there's new funding through Granite Shield. Most of it is going to law enforcement again.
So the question becomes, from a planning and zoning standpoint, where you have a facility already supporting the needs of disabled youth, does it become a conflict of interest to have a facility that could negatively impact an existing facility that meets the needs of the entire community day to day and services the community itself versus bringing people outside? Does that conflict of interest exist to evaluate that without the potential for lawsuit?
Well, I think to answer that, I would say that the problem here began with how the whole process started. If Grant Recovery wanted to put a transition housing, this is just my opinion, there should have been more of an effort to basically advertise what they're going to do. There should have been meetings with school board, with the public, everything. There should have been hearings, a positive thing to bring people together to talk about what they're doing. Because I believe if they did that, and how about if they had brought into that hearing a group of people that went through their transitional and were successful, so the public could see that this could actually work.
But Ed,
I mean, they didn't do any of that. So that's what I would have done different if they had asked me what to do.
but Ed, the problem that the planning board has, say they wanted the group home. That has to be licensed by the state. And they said, no, we don't need a license. And that's what they applied for, was a group home. And under the group home, it says in our ordinance that they shall be a licensed facility. Yeah, Pete.
I just wanted to give my input on this because I was conflicted with the fact that it was in such close proximity to the school. But everybody on this board and everybody in the community should be aware of one simple fact. These people have already been treated and I'm not going to say released because that's not the right term. They're ready to transition back into the community. If they wanted to go rent an apartment right over here, are we going to stop them? No. So everybody needs to be aware of what's happening here. These people have already been treated. They're going out the door. Wherever they go, they're going to go. And I wanted to say this in the last meeting because I was so frustrated with some of the comments I heard, because you can't stop someone from living somewhere. We have no right to do that. And I think we need to be aware that these guys, regardless of what we think, they do have a right to go anywhere in the community they want. And if they wanted to rent a house next to the, and that was the other thing too that I wanted to bring up. Well, let's say that a couple of these guys got together and they decided that this is a great town to live in and they bought a house across the street from the school. Does that mean now that we have to start vetting people before they buy homes? I mean, guys, everybody needs to just really think about the implications of this long term and how this board, and ultimately our hands are going to be tied anyway. Because after he made the gentleman from Ossipee Granite made those comments in the last meeting, I did go look that up, and they are right. It is deemed a disability, and there's a whole slew of issues if we deny them. So I don't know. It's just I was just stuck on the implication and the thought process that we can't stop individuals from renting homes, renting apartments, or doing things in the community, and the simple fact that a treatment facility bought this transitional home and wants to turn it into, or bought this piece of property and turned it into a transitional home, everybody's up in arms. But ultimately, if they had decided to strike a deal with a couple of landlords in the area and rent apartments for the 16 individuals, they wouldn't even have to be here, and we would have no recourse, and we still don't have any recourse.
I was never against it to begin with.
Please.
The one thing that I found when I was reading, that's why I directed some questions to you. If you look up the definitions of these homes,
Well, wait a minute.
well, just a
Dennis.
second, you can go that far.
Wait a minute.
It can go
Dennis.
way beyond what they might be.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
They aren't here, so legally we can't even talk
Yeah,
about it.
I know it. We shouldn't be doing it.
And
Sorry.
I just realized that when Peter got through.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was my public comment.
And I was commenting on his public comment.
okay.
And my questions are more of, I'm curious as to how planning and zoning view the current facility or needs that are being met through the school facilities that may come into direct conflict with interaction of a group home, rehabilitative folks, and the potential for those. There's some concern from the parents, like myself. My son, we're out of his disability. There are choices that people have made that have placed them in the situation they're in. They can move past them. I've met some. I have family members. I've been successful in that route, and I have others that are successful for a while and then they aren't. But it really becomes a question of how disability is, how those disabilities mesh in a society, which one takes precedence.
I gotta cut you off because you starting to go over the same thing again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm more.
I can talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more just a question for him. So
You can
we'll talk
talk,
privately afterwards.
you can talk to him afterwards, fine. Joe, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, well, sorry, I'm repeating to shut me down. The only reason that I brought that up earlier is because I went on intentionally looking for reasons for a way to help to maybe stop this. And every time I reached an avenue, they have full legal rights to go there. I even found out information, because you would think in certain aspects, even if you type in if you want to put sexual offender, there is no limitations for sexual offenders towards schools. They can live right next door if they want. So you're dealing with the Disabilities Act.
It depends on what tier level they are.
Well, it's the local level who decides that,
No, it's the.
because there was a House bill and that got defeated on 1,000 feet.
There's still tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, so they still have to register, and the police know where they are. And
Oh, no, I realize they have to register, but there's no limitations to where they can live, from what I could see anywhere for the state of New Hampshire.
I'll have to check that, but I believe there is. I believe depending on their severity of what
Well,
they've done.
there are some towns that have it, but it's being struck down in Supreme Court.
I think you did.
Okay. So,
All
that's what I found. But anyways.
Yeah, I think it's time to close this.
Just one last comment, just under public comment, if you'd let me.
I will,
One
just
second.
a moment, I will. The only reason that I made the motion to have this go to the ZBA is because we don't have the authority, because what they asked for was a group home, which calls for a license. So this board cannot pass on it. Yes, Edward, you can turn the camera around to yourself.
Yeah. You want me to hand
Get
it up
over
here?
here.
Hold on.
Get over
It's scary.
here.
All right, just one last, I just wanted to say that you could tell, this conversation shouldn't be happening in the planning board. This should have been vetted by the public in a separate meeting where everybody could discuss in an open forum, because there's another opportunity. If the entire town got together and had a huge meeting about this, we would have an intervention. And half the people that came to the meeting, we would have an intervention. Because there are people in the town and all surrounding towns that have problems. And maybe if we all got together and talked about our problems, maybe we could effectively change the approach to addiction.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm just saying. The reason why we're having this conversation is because there was no conversation before, and that has to happen.
I think that would be a good thing for the city to
You read that?
You want to know? Number one, I'm almost certain part of it was green space. Number two, I think there's some wetlands in that area. And number three, there's not enough road frontage.
I don't know about the road frontage, because it's a corner lot.
Because what?
It's a corner lot.
Has roads on two sides.
Well, I think that the big thing we did at the time was green space.
Yeah.
We wanted some green space in the place, and I think that these areas here are wet. I'm not sure.
No, he said
I mean-
that he
We're
would,
wet.
Huh?
he said that he would give, when he originally proposed this, he said that he would convey to the town of Ossipee, conservation,
Commission?
part of that land,
Yeah,
because it was wetland.
okay.
But I don't think he's got enough frontage myself.
Enough what?
Frontage, needs 200 feet,
Well, he's got the 200 feet.
but you also, the plan says that you shall not, you shall build in the buildable area
Right,
marked on the plot plan.
right. And that's what this is.
Yeah,
And if you're just taking that, you're right. There is no more room. But,
Buildable.
and the reason that I remember this is because whoever said something about the master plan, that's when we were working on the master plan, and that was one of the big things that we wanted in developments was green space. And this, the way they laid this out was, you know, it protected whatever wetlands there were, plus if people wanted to walk down in there and see what Mother Nature looks like, they could go there. And and if I was on the planning board today, and this guy brought this in, I'd tell him that that's exactly what happened and why. And if he wants to challenge it in court, fine. But
did Northern.
we didn't do this just to make a hardship on this guy. We did it, and Northern Land Traders agreed. I mean, this wasn't forced on them. They agreed that that would be part of it. And you know, I don't know what he's trying to do.
Trying to build 3 lots.
3 lots?
3 lots out of that 1 lot.
Yeah, well. It's up to you guys, but I wouldn't, I'd just
Well,
deny.
I mean, we can't change it because it's the association has got to change that plot plan. We can't.
No, he's got to design that and bring that into view for approval.
No. That is on this.
It's in the covenants.
Yeah, I know,
But the covenants
but they
have to be
already
changed
said
first.
that they change it.
They gotta change it for we can do it.
They have to change it. We can't change it. We have no authority to change anything on a plot plan before it is approved. Once it's approved, we can't touch it. That's state law.
I don't understand.
The covenants
In
have
other
to be
words-
changed by
Wait
the
a minute,
association.
Roy. Wait a minute, please.
I saw the covenants.
No, I'm trying to find where it says,
You had a sheet here, I saw it.
it's got the, here,
Yep.
okay? Once that's recorded, the planning board has no more authority on that. The only people that can change that are the original or successors to Northern Trader, Land Traders. We have no authority to change that. If they come in and ask for it to be changed, Mr. Scott down on Duncan Lake came in. He had a whole bunch of stupid things. Couldn't have more than 50 gallons of oil on the property. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. And he couldn't sell his land. So he came in, and that was before we moved up here. That was up in the
Town hall.
town hall. And he gave us a hard time about it. And we said, we're sorry, you put it on there. Don't look at us to say you can't, you can do it. you change it, then we'll okay your plot plan.
Well, this is
See, there's nothing in,
This is Northern Land Traders' promise to the planning board that that's what they'll do.
correct.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you want Northern Land Traders' successor to change it, and then you'll rule on it?
Yeah.
We can't change it.
Huh?
We can't change it.
We do not have the authority, once that's recorded, to
Right.
change it, because we're not a participant of that. We only approved it.
Okay, I got you.
You understand it now, Pete?
Yep. Well, when they change it, then turn it down when it comes before you.
Well, no, they can change it. If they want, the association can change it,
Yeah.
Blueberry Estates. But they've gotta have a good reason to change it. Because they go,
Well, they can't subdivide that lot.
no, they can't subdivide it, but they can approve it they say in their letter that we'll approve it once the planning board
Oh, okay.
sees it. And
Yeah, it's gotta be the other way around.
it's got to be the other way around, because we have no authority to do that. And once it comes in front of us, once it comes in front of us, then we can change it.
Gotcha.
We're pretty well done here, you know.
Mr. Zavas, did you have a comment you were gonna try to make?
I think I'll just wait until they see how this pans out, but this is the parcel they want to subdivide?
Yes,
Okey dokey. And these big blotches over here are wetlands?
I believe so. Or was it the old gravel pit?
If they subdivide it, we okay it, they still gotta follow all state laws, leach fields and buildings and everything else, so.
That whole backside of that lot's
It's
useless.
wet.
Yeah. The bulk of that 11 acres is, all right, whatever.
Well, that's not the point. The point is, it was green space, and that was agreed to by Northern Land Traders.
No.
And that's what the planning board asked for, was green space. Now you're doing away with the green space. But this guy is generously gonna give to the town of Ossipee some swamp. And, you know,
You might as well keep it.
and that is all sand over there. There's nothing but sand. So anything that, 3 more leach fields on that property is gonna eventually end up in that swamp. So,
Depends what you have for designs, I guess pretty new designs now that will actually, they claim within 2 feet. What's that?
I can't hear you.
I said, depends what type of design they use, because they get designs now, they claim with 2 feet.
Yeah.
You can drink the water comes out of them, I have to go to classes every 2 years for that stuff.
Clean
They come up with a lot of new
solutions.
designs.
We get everything? One more.
One more.
Okay.
What do we got here?
Let's get that taken care of then.
It's just an FYI.
Okay, Wednesday, December 13th is the last day to accept petitions to amend the zoning ordinance, historic district ordinance, or building code for consideration at the 2018 town meeting. Friday, January 12th, 2018 is the last day to post and publish notice for the first hearing on proposed adoption or amendment of the zoning ordinance.
You don't need to read all of them, just the ones upcoming.
What?
You don't need to read all of the ones I highlighted, just the.
Well, that's
I
two.
said the second one. That one.
And
That's
that
the
one.
second one I heard of.
Yes, ma'am.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion been made.
Second.
Oh!
Third, passes, no discussion.
You seconded it?
Final announcement. Who here knows when the next school board meeting is?
What's that?
Who knows when the next school board meeting is? Well, I'm going to tell you. December 4th, right here. What I can do, and I can't promise anything, is I could get on the agenda for the school board, and if the town has concerns about that housing for addiction, come to the school board meeting, discuss it, and perhaps I can get Granite Recovery to also attend, and create that forum type of deal where people could discuss this. And if it can't happen at the school board, maybe we could do it another date. I believe it's 7 o'clock. But December 4th, it's right here. Thank you. No, in the school. Ossipee Central.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion?
Let's have a long discussion. I'll be here alone.
All those in favor?
I'm gonna abstain.
How can you abstain?
Have a great
We can't,
Thanksgiving.
we cannot,
You as well.
we can beat up if you abstain.